students, these are your notes for lesson 2.2, translations. So first, we have some key ideas. A transformation is a way of changing one figure into another figure. And when we do this, the new figure is called the image. We're going to talk about a lot of different types of transformations, but in this lesson, we'll be talking specifically about translations. And translations are transformations in which a figure slides but does not turn. So here you see an example of a slide where the red figure just sort of slides over to where the blue figure is. It doesn't turn upside down, doesn't go backwards, it just slides over. So in this first example, we're just going to identify whether or not we see a translation. So first, we're going to look at the two figures in example A and see whether the blue figure is a translation of the red figure. So if I look at the red figure, if I just slide it down and to the left, I would get the blue figure. So yes, this is a translation. However, when I look at B, I would need to do some kind of a turn to get from the red figure to the blue figure. So that is not an example of a translation. It is a transformation, but it's not the one we're talking about today, which is a translation. All right, so that brings us to this next key idea, where we can translate a figure A units horizontally and B units vertically on the coordinate plane by adding A to the x coordinate and B to the y coordinate. So you can see that we have this red figure that's labeled A, B, C. And then we have our blue figure, which is labeled A prime, B prime, C prime. And we show A prime as A with an apostrophe. So I'm going to look at B because it's a little bit easier for me to map this one. But if I take B, I can translate B to B prime, specifically, use a color here, by moving 4 units to the right and 3 units down. So I can find the coordinates of B prime by taking my coordinates of B, which are -1 and 4, and to my x coordinate, I'm going to add 4 since I went 4 to the right. And to my y coordinate, I'm going to add -3 since I went 3 down, or I could subtract 3. So my coordinates of B prime will be 3, 1, and I can check to see if that's where B prime is. Let me erase all of these markings so that we can see it. And yes, B prime is right here at 3, 1. So we can translate a figure using the coordinate plane by just counting squares. So in this next example, we have this red triangle labeled ABC, and our blue triangle, which is the image after the translation, that's labeled A prime, B prime, C prime. And I can find that A prime, B prime, C prime by translating that red triangle 3 to the right and 3 units down, and that will help me find B prime. So what are the coordinates of the image? So that's the coordinates of A prime, B prime, and C prime. Well, let's see. For A prime, we start with A, and we're going to move over to the right 3 and down 3. So that gives us a coordinate of 1, -2. B prime, we'll start with B and we'll go to the right 3 and down 3, and that will give us coordinates of 5, 2. And C prime, we'll start at C and we'll go over to the right 3 and down 3, and that will give us coordinates of 4, -1. All right, in this next example, We're going to translate a figure just using the coordinates. So without using the coordinate plane to just count squares, we're going to use the coordinates of the original shape. It's a square. Sorry, I was looking to see what kind of a shape it is. The original square. And we will use a translation of 4 units to the left and 6 units up, and that will help us find the vertices of our image. So if A is at 1, -2, moving 4 units to the left means we're going to take our number 1, our x coordinate of 1, and we'll subtract 4. That will move this point 4 units to the left. And then I have my y coordinate of my original shape is -2. And if I want to move 6 units up, I'll add 6. So the vertices of A prime, sorry, I'll write A prime here. The vertices of A prime will be -3, 4. Let's go ahead and do that for B. We're going to start with our x coordinate of 3, and we'll subtract 4. We have our y coordinate of -2, we'll add 6. So that means B prime is at -1, 4. For C prime, we're going to start with our x coordinate of C, which is 3. We'll subtract 4. And then our y coordinate is -4. We'll add 6. So that means C prime will be at -1, 2. And last, we have D. We have our x coordinate of 1. We'll subtract 4. We have -4. We'll add 6. And that means that D prime is at -3, 2. All right, go ahead and try the on your own. Don't forget to look back at the examples if you need them.